Are THIAGO and Eze must-haves in FPL, and is it actually the right time to be selling Semenyo? In today's transfer tips video, we're taking a look at the hottest transfers in FPL right now, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on whether they should be transferred in or out of your FPL teams. So, let's get into this. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's transfer tips video. If you're brand new to the channel, go ahead and click that sub button. I make FPL videos to help you guys at home by just clicking that little red sub button. It massively supports the channel. Make sure you drop a like on the video as well. But we're starting the video off with THIAGO, Brentford's main man, who's been absolutely popping off lately. And he's coming into some pretty good fixtures, and we're going to talk about the possibility of bringing him in this week or potentially in game week 16 instead. So, with my personal squad, I'm on a free hit this week, and I actually don't own THIAGO in FPL in my main squad. So it's likely I'm going to have THIAGO for Burnley at home, not for Arsenal away, not for Spurs away, and then buy him in game week 16 for Leeds at home, Wolves away, and then see what happens. I think overall, this is the strategy that I'm on, which I think is maybe the strongest strategy. Of course, if you own THIAGO already and you've got Arsenal away and Spurs away in 14 and 15, maybe that feels a little bit off, but still, you've got Burnley at home, Leeds at home, Wolves away. Maybe Spurs away is a blessing in disguise from what Arsenal have just done to them, but the fixtures coming up for them are absolutely fantastic. Brentford have surprised me quite a lot in recent weeks with some of the results they've been getting. I don't even know, like, they've sort of evolved with Keith Andrews now, settled in a little bit, and THIAGO is performing at a really, really high standard. And of course, his ownership is starting to slowly rise again and again and again. 15.5% THIAGO this week, I think, is a fantastic buy in FPL. Is it actually the right time to sell Semenyo? I'm not convinced it is, and I'm going to talk you through that process here for game week 13. We're coming into a pretty decent fixture run for Bournemouth in the next coming weeks. Of course, he didn't play against West Ham, which I thought he would, which was a bit devastating there. But, you know, that injury aside, looking at just the fixtures and the player himself, because I do think it's going to be sooner rather than later that he is back. But, of course, we've got to wait for press conference information regarding that. I think keeping him is probably the move I would go for. Yes, having some disappointing performances in recent weeks gets on your back, is frustrating, but those two blanks he's had recently were against Aston Villa away from home and City away from home, and then of course blanking against West Ham where he just didn't play. I don't think that warrants a transfer out personally. I think, look, he's still the same player he was. His date is decent, got good fixtures coming up. I think I could back the Bournemouth man for a little bit longer. If it is the case this injury is a problem though, yes, absolutely sell him in FPL. Move him on to another asset with good fixtures in the coming weeks. But so far, I think I would keep Semenyo for game week 13 until we hear more news. Of course, when you score a hat-trick and score loads of FPL points, everyone wants to bring you in, and that's been the case this week with over 200,000 transfers in for Eze for game week 13. We're going to talk about him as an asset and whether it's actually a good idea to be bringing him in FPL. And I'm not too convinced right now. I'll be completely honest. Yes, such an impressive performance against Spurs. Fantastic, in fact. But going into Chelsea away in game week 13, it doesn't quite feel the right time to be bringing in Eze in FPL. And maybe Arsenal attackers as a whole, it doesn't feel the greatest time. You've got, yes, Chelsea away, Brentford at home. Brentford at home is a bit of an iffy one. They've been a lot better in recent weeks. Then you've got Villa away from home. Villa away from home feels like an incredibly difficult fixture this season. But then, of course, going into Wolves at home, Everton away, Brighton at home feels a little bit better for attackers. So if it is the case you do want an Arsenal attacker, is Eze the guy to be bringing in? Well, I think it's 7.6 million, cheaper than Bukayo Saka, but just not on pens. He's still providing really good value. So if you are desperate for that Arsenal attacker, maybe Eze is the guy you go for here, because Saka's not really doing an awful lot in FPL. And, you know, having pens but not getting a lot of pens in the Premier League maybe is a little bit of an issue here for that price tag. So I think Eze himself, the price tag is good value in a sense, but the fixtures don't feel the greatest to be bringing him in this week. Let me know what you think. Has this sort of hat trick he's recently scored turned your head a little bit to Eze? Is it a knee-jerk reaction here? Let me know what you think. Virgil van Dijk was one of the most popular Gabriel replacements for game week 12. Liverpool, of course, now have dropped another stinker in the Premier League, and Arne Slot has a lot of pressure on his back. Let's talk about Virgil van Dijk as an asset though. Should we be selling him as early as game week 13 after maybe just bringing him in? Of course, very popular in game week 12. Of course, is it time? I don't know if it is the right time to be selling him. I'm going to break it down in two pathways here for you to whether you should keep or sell Virgil van Dijk. For me, Virgil van Dijk is absolutely fantastic for defensive contributions. That's a big bonus of owning him in FPL. But at 6 million, we're looking at these fixtures coming up. If you don't believe that Liverpool can fix this defensive issue and fix their form in the Premier League, obviously you don't believe that there's going to be many clean sheets within these next 6 games. I think that gives you the opportunity in FPL to sell Virgil van Dijk down to a 4.5 million defender who does achieve DEFCON on a regular basis. We're looking at Chris Richards, Anderson, them type of players who are slowly ticking away with points in FPL under people's noses, but not getting as many clean sheets. If you think, though, that Liverpool can turn things around defensively in some of these easier games, nick a few clean sheets here and there, I absolutely think Virgil van Dijk's worth keeping a hold of. It is just difficult looking at Liverpool underperforming every single week and just not being their best, and sometimes dropping absolutely horrendous performances, holding Liverpool asset. It just doesn't feel great. It really doesn't. But I think that's the simple way I would break down owning Virgil van Dijk in FPL. If you don't think clean sheets are going to come and you think this form continues, sell him for a cheaper asset who achieves a similar outcome. And of course, if you do think this could be fixed and clean sheets could come, I would hold him in FPL. That's 8 games for Nico O'Reilly, playing over 80 minutes for Manchester City in the Premier League at left back. Of course, Nori lurks on the bench, and that could cause us issues with the potential transfer, but it looks so far so good for Nico O'Reilly. Now, of course, the fixture run coming up looks absolutely fantastic, and he still is a big differential in FPL. I think he could be a really great buy in the game right now. Leeds, Fulham, Sunderland, Palace, West Ham, Forest. Feels like a great time to be buying it. With Nori possibly going away to AFCON around 17, game week 18-ish. It's a bit up in the air of when he could actually leave. I do think his starting place will continue within the side. It's going to be interesting to see how Pep plays things, but I do believe against Leeds it could be the early kickoff. So, we could get team leaks, and if it does include Nico O'Reilly starting at left back, I do think it's a great entry point this game week to be bringing in the City starting at left back. What do you think in the comments though? Is this the right time to be bringing in Nico O'Reilly, or is Pep Roulette going to get us yet again? CAICEDO is still one of the highest scoring midfielders in the game, but did miss out on a fixture last game week, and managers are getting a bit worried, which is completely understandable. But could it just be time to sell CAICEDO anyway? We're coming into a pretty difficult fixture run here. Arsenal at home, Leeds away, Bournemouth at home, Everton at home, Newcastle away, and Aston Villa at home. Those fixtures don't scream massive returns for me for CAICEDO. Yes, I think defensive contributions are super reliable with this guy because at the end of the day, he is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. He gets involved in tackles. He wins the ball back so much. 6.1 million. I think selling him, going towards maybe the ideal transfer here on the top of my head is actually Yakuba Minte. Very similar price. In fact, I think they're both 6.1 in FPL. I think that could be the move. Looking at the fixtures, it just doesn't seem likely CAICEDO can keep up his title as one of the highest scoring midfielders in FPL. Tomorrow's video is a big one. It's my updated free hit draft for game week 13, so make sure you're tuning in and looking out for that video. Of course, a massive thank you for your support on today's video and the channel. If you did enjoy the video, go ahead and drop a like. And if you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button for future FPL content and FPL streams. But that is everything for today's video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.